Welcome everyone. I am so excited to be here. I'm a new face. I get to crash the Microsoft party today. I'm so excited, and we get to do something that truly makes me happy. My friends tease me about my love of data. I am a Sheets geek, and we are doing some data management with Excel for admin staff. And so I know many of you have some varying roles of what it is that you do, what your day-to-day is, all those types of things. One of the things you'll notice is I'm a very hands-on girl. So we're hoping today you're going to be trying right along with us. We're going to have some practice sheets for you to try within Excel. And as well, that chat. Coulter and I, that's how we're gonna support you, hear from you. We're gonna ask you some things in the chat because we know there's so many different experience levels in the room. And we're gonna say, hey, where are you at this? Have you done this? Because if it's something we're like, yeah, old news, been there, done that, we can move on to something else. Or if you're like, yeah, no, like, hey, let's do that. I don't know how to do that, or I need a refresher. So really, please feel free to just have some fun in the chat with us, participate along with us. And I agree with Sean, data rocks. That's the nature of the education game and the business game. How often are we asked for immediate data and we need to be able to provide? So Coulter has so wonderfully, he is the maverick to my goose. He has got the link in there for us already for this PowerPoint. Feel free to take that, download it, make a copy. Really important to save that so that it's yours and that doesn't get lost. You're looking for that file button in the top right-hand corner, and you're going to see a lovely download feature because this is not yours. So go ahead and make sure that you're doing that today. And we'll be doing that one more time with our practice sheet. But I'm super excited to be here today. Coulter, I fangirl a little bit because he is the Microsoft genius. He knows how to do everything in every tool. And so I'm super excited to be here with him today. You've been with this group before, Coulter. You guys have been having some fun, right?
Yeah, we've been working with the admin staff for about, this is I think our 4th session. So it's been great, and thank you so much for being here and participating and going through this series with us.
Fantastic. I love it. And you know, it'd be helpful to me because I'm the new kid to the playground, to the Microsoft party. Feel free to throw in the chat, where are you from? And what is your role? What do you do? And that's going to help us tailor today to you. We'll find some of those specific examples to your role. Feel free to do that. My name's Trish. I am an educator and a technology consultant here in Edmonton, Alberta on beautiful Treaty 6 territory. And speaking of that, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge, all of us to acknowledge wherever we are today, to just in our minds, you know, daily give that thanks and remembrance of those people whose footsteps walked before us. I'm here on Treaty 6 territory, which is a traditional meeting grounds, gathering place, and traveling route for the Cree, Saulteaux, Blackfoot, Métis, Dene, and Nakota Sioux. And I'm just so thankful to be able to teach, learn, explore, share with you every single day. And I hope wherever you are from and wherever your footsteps walk, that we can give thanks to those before us. And so we're here, we're the Cobblestone Collective team. Hopefully you've been here before. If you are new, feel free to throw that in the chat. Let us know this is your first one. We are really excited to offer this series. We know that we do a lot of educator series, but the fact that this is something that's so specific for our admin professionals, I think that's really amazing. These tools absolutely transcend that what is your institution. It's about the function, it's about that use that we can do. And I love Joanne's throwing in there already, student information systems. We've got some BC here. I'm in here in Alberta. Remind me, Coulter, you're from down east, right?
I am. I'm originally from Niagara Falls, actually,
Awesome.
but I live in Toronto.
Oh, fantastic.
But grew up and raised in Niagara.
Oh, well, we got a little Canadian representation today, but just so you know, there are more of these workshops. We do have the link here in the notes, but as well, we'll throw it in the chat. If you want to share that out with your colleagues, if you want to be able to register for more, just remember, you know, you can do that. And we are so thankful for Microsoft Education Canada for supporting this session, making sure that we're bringing these tools and this training to everybody that we can across Canada for free. That's also like, how great is that? It's not just another video to push play on, it's an interactive workshop where you're going to get to try along with us. So I have a bit of a plan today. And Coulter knows me well. I've got a plan, but sometimes that plan can change because I want to base this plan on you. So I'm just going to pause here for a moment and kind of look at what we're trying to do in Excel. And I find, I don't know, Coulter, if you feel this too, as soon as you mention Excel and workbooks and sheets, and people's eyes kind of start to glaze over, they start to look down a little bit because data can be scary. And we get that our shoulders raised because we're a little nervous of these numbers and cells and columns and rows. And so looking at this today's plan, for my friends out there, feel free to throw in the chat, which one of these are you most intrigued to learn about today or review today? Throw that in there. Just throw right one in that chat. What is it that you are looking for today? And just seeing, is it looking at sorting? Is it making things change some color with conditional formatting? Do you want to look at some cool new formulas that are going to help organize your life? Throw that in there, and that's going to help us have some fun. And I know, Coulter, you were telling me you were excited today because he was like, oh yeah, I haven't done this in a while. There were some things in there that you were looking forward to.
Yeah, I really haven't really worked with the Excel sheets as much as I don't need to necessarily in my role as an educator, but I started doing it with grade books, and I started using the conditional formatting, which is really a cool thing for me, and it just helps organize all of my sheets and all of my students as well, and it just makes it so much more visually appealing for me to make those conditional formats, and it just makes it that much easier. So I'm really happy that those are on the docket, and I'm excited to see how you would use them as well.
Well, and for me, I've been using Excel for a long time. It is just one of those tools where I find in my role, even as an educator now, I work as a consultant, I'm asked for immediate data. I'm like, a 4:30, email, and by 5 o'clock, it's like, I need all our data on this. I need all our numbers on this. Where are we at on this? And it's like, if I didn't have that at my fingertips, it would be very difficult in my position. And so I'm excited to show you. It's a little bit like, the Letterman's top 10. This is Trisha's top 10. Like, what are we going to be doing here in Excel, knowing that this is quite literally the tip of the Excel iceberg, because this is a very incredibly powerful tool. And so if there's something that you don't see here today that you're looking forward to, don't worry, we have got a lot of support resources and training materials for you that we're going to be sharing towards the end of our hour. And for everybody that's here before, I think that this is something that Coulter and Alex have reviewed with you before. Just if you don't have that Office program installed yet, just know that you can go ahead and you can find that at portal.office.com and be able to download it. We know that we do have the web apps that are available in all of our Microsoft tools. I do find if you have the opportunity to use the install apps on your laptop or your desktop device, you'll find that there's a lot more features available to you. But the features that I'm showing you today are available in the browser or as well right here, just on the install programs. And I can swap between the views if you are having any difficulty today. And I love that. Excel is a monster that needs to be tamed. You got it. It can be one of those things, but we're going to tame this beast. You're going to be a professional at this after. I think one of the big things to share with you first is the templates. I know for me, I was really blown away by the templates. I'm just going to give this a little copy and throw this in my browser. For me, it's sometimes death by blank workbook is it's a real thing. It's like, where do I even start? So one of the things just to share with you, I'm just going to throw it in my browser so you can see it, and we've got that link for you that we'll share, is that there are many Excel templates that are available in here for you that already have that setup, that design, that just help you be like, oh, okay, I just need to track some dates, or I want to be able to look at some lists or costs or anything. It's that starting point. And you're going to have the skills to customize it and make it be yours. But just know there's a really awesome place that you can look for them there. And of course, whenever we are in an Excel file, I'll show you how we can see all those templates built right into that new button when we are trying to get started. So that's kind of our first pro tip today. You're going to see many, many pro tips as we go and be able to say, okay, where do I want with that? But what we want to do today is we wanted to make this not a sit and get. We really want you to have some hands-on practice today. And that's hard because we don't want to mess up any of your workbooks. We know that those are sacred. You can't touch those. That has data and names and everything in there. So one of the things we've made for you today is a practice space. So what you're going to be doing is just open up a tab in your preferred browser. You're going to the cc.page/copy sheet. That's going to get you to my Excel sheet that we are going to be using today. And what you're looking for is that file. And again, you're looking for that download button that you will see because you don't have that yet. It's not yours. So you want to be able to not only view it, I've given you view access thanks to the sharing capabilities of Microsoft, but I want you to be able to download that, put that in your OneDrive, and now you can use this and work with it and practice it. And no harm, no foul. We've got a bit of a playground. So I'm going to take a little pause here because this is where the training wheel is on the bicycle. I don't want to go around the block without everybody being at the same space. So when I know that you've got this Excel sheet open, you've got it downloaded, I want you to throw in the chat for me, what is your preferred morning beverage? Are you a tea drinker? What kind of tea? Are you a coffee drinker? You like your Nespresso machine? That's going to let me know that you are ready in the chat. I don't know, Coulter, what's your go-to in the morning? I feel like I need more kitchen advice from you. You've given me the air fryer today. What is your favorite?
Sorry, I was muted. This morning I made a juice with some ginger and some celery and some cucumber, green apples, and a lemon. Yeah, I usually have it right next to me, but it's just, I can see it. And I didn't grab it before we started, so I'm just kind of staring at it right now.
It's tempting.
So right there. Yeah, it's tempting. Yeah. So I'm a juice kind of guy. I never really got into coffee, actually. I think that's just been a lifelong thing. I always remember that I'm not a morning person, so I can always remember the smell of coffee being woken up as a teenager. And I think that just ruined it for me because my parents and that just and the smell is one of your strongest memories. So
that's right.
So yeah, I have a tough time with coffee.
See, it's funny that's your experience. Mine, if I even smell coffee, I'm like Pavlov's dogs. I'm salivating. I'm like, yes, bring that on. I'm an espresso girl, little milk, little espresso. I'm happy. This is good. We got lots of Java people in there. You got it. Our administrative professionals, you need that coffee. You got a lot going on. We got to have some zing in our day if we're going to be doing some sheets. So this is great. I'm just looking for everybody to get ready. Thank you for this participation in the chat. That's so helpful to Coulter and I, just so that we can pace today and know that everybody is literally on the same page as us. I think we're just letting a couple more people get comfortable. We know that you have that sheet open. And now we're going to get to play. And you're not wrecking anything other than a copy of something that I made. Of course, if you want to have your own sheet open because you're like, yeah, I want to try this in my own things, you're more than welcome to. Whatever makes you happy. So one of the things you'll notice is that we're going to have our Excel environment, and I've created some sheets along the bottom with all of them having a unique tab that's just going to go through each one of those things that we're going to be looking at doing today. Inside the PowerPoint that we prepared for you, we've set these up as placeholders and screenshots so that you can go back to this and go, oh yeah, okay, that matches this part of the Excel book. This is what I want to practice and play with. So then it's just going to help trigger you. And of course, you're more than welcome to share any of these resources with your colleagues after today, because we want to be able to share the Microsoft love and have everybody be able to learn about this. So I thought what we could do, as we're talking about getting ready here and things in the morning, I know it's a little later here already. It's, 11:45 here in Alberta, a little later for you down east, but I thought we could warm up with some basics. And so this, again, just looking for that participation in the chat, I thought we could practice with a little bit of some function warm up. These seem to be those functions that I end up using almost every day when I'm using Excel, where I have to add something up. I have to find the maximum value in something, counting in something, all those different pieces. So let me know here in the chat, where are you with these formulas? And so I like to do something called a fist of 5. Fist is 0. I haven't done these. I don't know any of these ones yet. 5 is, thanks, Trish. Let me teach this. I am Admin Professional of the Year. I know all of these, and I could share my screen right now. Let us know how you're feeling about some of these basics so that we're going to do some hands-on practice and get us going. We're going to level up as we go through our remaining 45 minutes here. Awesome, excellent, great. So that's going to be good for us because we can sort of play and practice with these ones if you're feeling pretty solid and good with those ones. And so that's where we're going to go ahead and we are going to play. And so we're just going to open back up our book here. And we're going to see on the warm-up practice tab, you're going to notice there's just some of those basic functions. And so this is often where we see us going in our Excel, is where we can go here and we can start to insert those formulas. Now, I know that we have our function formulas that we can insert right there up at the top. We can select that function, of course, and then we can select the range that we want it to. And what I really love about that is there's an intelligent selection that's part of it. So you can see it already knows I'm probably going to be doing the sum for 2 through 6. Of course, you're welcome to do that. I call it the other way, is where we're simply going ahead and we are typing that in a space. And so in that space at any point, I do find I go to this a lot where I'm typing equals and sum. And then I am hand selecting and choosing what it is that I'm wanting to do. And so any one of these different functions allows us to be able to just have that instant data. And what's great about it is if I have a sheet that is continually being updated, I create those categories, those formula categories. So the minute my sheet is updated, my formula is already updated. So you don't have to wait for the data to come at the end before you go ahead and you are, putting that in and checking that out. So sum is one of those really basic ones. I like this particular one here when I can do max. It's like, what was, who asked for the most number of Chromebooks to be delivered? Who needed, who paid the most in these fees? Any of those types of things. It'll tell me the highest number that's there. And it seems a little bit silly when we're looking at such small data sets, but when you end up with massive amounts of data, suddenly these formulas really are quite life-changing because I don't have to do that. So same with minimum, and you can see how I'm just able to type any of these right here. I like being able to type and select, and it does give me that prompt when I am typing. Two of my favorite ones are count and count A. And I feel like I'm asked this a lot because I'm asked completely, how many people responded, or, I'm trying to add up something in a particular column. And so when I start typing, again, I can see that it's giving me these suggestions, which I do really appreciate. I want to be able to know how many people even responded to something, got back to me with something. And so I really like that function. This is great for me when I'm adding up how many people have responded or how many numbers. Count A is numbers and text. That's kind of that great one, because if I need to know how many people responded to something or how many buildings I'm adding up or deliveries, for me, being able to go ahead and say, no, it's not just numbers I'm looking for. I'm doing count A because I want, just these, but what if I want actually everything in this column? Now it's going to include the header and the title there because it's text. So it's one of those ones that makes it really simple for me to be able to have that at my fingertips, who's responded, how many. I think that's a huge part of our jobs. And of course, average. That's another one that's used so much. You were probably using this quite a bit in your gradebook session that you were working on, Quilter, just to be able to grab the average. So this is pretty basic, and I know you're like, yeah, we're pretty solid, we've got this, but it's nice to just get in this sheet and play and just see how it is we're gonna start working with this data. And you might be thinking to yourself right now, oh, I have a sheet, actually, I probably should just go ahead and add some formulas in. I've been, waiting, I haven't put that in. And you can do that. With anything highlighted, this is just a little pro tip for you. At any point that I select any cells and highlight them, some of you may know or not know, along the bottom of your Excel workbook, what you're gonna see is it already has some things like average, count, and sum already there for me based on the data that I've selected. So I like that for quick at a glance. Maybe I'm not going to insert a formula in my workbook yet, but I just need some quick at a glance numbers. Try just highlighting all of those cells that you're looking at and just look along the bottom of your Excel workbook, and I'm going to see it's giving me some of those numbers already added for me. Was that new for anybody? Has anybody done that before? Have you seen it?
I didn't know that it gave you the sum there. I knew that it highlighted some things, but I didn't recognize that it gave you all those numbers. Maybe I'm not using an updated Excel.
Oh yeah, it always, that's been there, and it's like it's awesome because if somebody calls me just up real quick and I can grab like a whole list like this and I'm like, yep, it's this. I know right away. And I don't, because I'm not necessarily wanting to put a formula in my workbook, but I just need some quick at a glance. That's your at a glance, just select those cells. And it works for names too. If I go here and I just grab that, it tells me a count of 6 because that's what I can do with the names. So it is super darn handy, super darn handy. And welcome to our guests that are just joining us today. Coulter has put in there for you our PowerPoint presentation for today, and you'll notice that there's also that copy link so that you can download our practice workbook. All right. So just giving some of that playtime. Let us know how that went. Let us know how you're doing in the chat. And we're gonna keep on going because we're gonna level up from here with some of my favorite formulas. We're sticking with formulas for a little while here so that we can play with this data. I have to say, one of the biggest things that I need is I need unique. It's one of those things where I end up with a lot of duplicates. Duplicates make me see double, especially when I'm getting a lot of responses to, say, a form, or where people, you wanted people to respond one time to something and you end up with double data entry, or I just need to remove some information because I'm being asked specifically about, well, how many people want to just this, and this. So it really helps us. And what's neat are there are 2 ways to do this. One of them preserves your data, and it's just a formula we run. I love this. If I was to be able to like put a little star beside my favorite, I'm a big believer in keep your raw data safe. And I run these different formulas on multiple sheets within my workbook. Unique is that formula that leaves my original data alone and it extracts. And so it takes out the duplicates, leaving my original data. Remove duplicates actually is changing your original data to now remove, and they're no longer there having duplicates. And so I want to take us through that. So let me know in the chat, is anybody here new to unique or remove duplicates? Throw it in the chat what you are new to. That will help me know what to focus a little bit more on, and we are going to have some hands-on practice together. Wonderful. Patricia, is that new to both or just a certain one of them? Okay. I don't want to talk it up too much, but I feel like it's life-changing. This is saving me because I used to go through Coulter, and guess what I was doing? I was hand selecting rows and deleting them and deleting them and deleting them. And it's like, oh, so much time of my life, especially because I work in 96 schools. So when I have schools respond to something, I will end up with a huge list of schools, and often I will have schools who weren't paying attention and filled out something 2 or 3 times. Now I don't have accurate counts. I need to remove duplicates or make things be unique. So I'm showing you my favorite first, because I really do love it. It's a formula. So again, that formula is going to go ahead and preserve your original data. And I'm going to show you how we can do that with both numbers and names, because I feel like that's what we use a lot in our jobs, is text-based values and numerical values. So I'm going to go ahead here and I invite you to click on the unique tab in your workbook here. And you're going to notice I've given you some numbers to practice with, and I've given you a whole bunch of names. I was looking up actually kitten names, new kitten names, looking at some flowers and things, and I got a whole bunch of duplicates that are in here. So we're going to practice this twice just to get those muscles going. And so what I'm looking at doing is you can insert the formula here. I kind of like to just do it off to the side. Here's my column with my original. Here's my column with all of my unique values. So again, I'm going to type equals. Right here, equals. I'm going to type unique. Again, if you want to use your function up at the top, you're more than welcome to. And so now I'm choosing, where do I need the unique ones? I'm choosing from here. And I'm going to hit enter. And you've noticed it's extracted and made a new list. My original data has been preserved. Didn't touch it. But now over here, now you're going to see where we're going to formula smash. This is where the sheet geek really comes out in me. Now I can say equals count, and I can put my count formula, because now I have a count of my unique values, not duplicates. And so now I've got that number in there. Just think of how you want to be able to do that. It's like, you know, I want to be able to put in here my unique formula, but now I'm going to go ahead and put in my count formula from here to here, close those brackets. Now I've got that. So just think of, where do I want to put that? Yeah, it might just say it can't fit it. There's no room there. That was my mistake. Throw it off to the side like I did. Great point, Sean. Exactly. Student and course info. Like I can't have those numbers, but that's where I find too, I need to remove duplicates, because if a student has registered for a course and it's the same student in there 3 times, I need to be able to remove that before I put in my count if function and my count functions. So let's try this again. You can insert formula here. You just have to have the room to do it. If you want to do it way off to the side, you can. But you're going to notice I have a great big list of names, all these flower names here. So I'm going to try this one more time. Equals unique. I'm going to use that bracket. Select your data. That bracket. And notice I've lined that list up side by side. Wow, what a big difference. I had a lot of duplicates in there. It gave me that opportunity to pull out duplicates, and now I could throw in account A, and I can say how many people actually responded without those duplicates. There. Give that a try and let me know, is this something that will make a difference in your role? Is this something you're planning on using in the future? Throw it in there, say, I'm going to use it. This is going to make a difference. Hopefully everyone out there is having some fun, playing along. It's fun to mess up a sheet that you're not worried about.
I'm enjoying it on my end here, to be honest with you. Because this is stuff that, like I said earlier, this is stuff that I'm still working through. Excel's probably the #1 program that I don't use in my daily activities with my, I'm primary school teacher. So we often are using this for grade books, as I mentioned earlier. Even something simple, because it's not a habitual thing, even something simple that you're doing there. I always do the like the formula, and then I manually type in like the cells. I didn't even recognize that if you highlighted the cells, it actually pops in there for you. So that's super helpful as well.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about Microsoft is there's a lot of different ways, and I think you're going to find your preference. I like to type the formula and select the cells. Lots of people like to use the function space up at the top so you can insert that function. Other people, are typing it. So pick your poison. This is what's going to work for you. But my biggest advice when you are using Excel is what you want to avoid is copy, paste, and delete. If you're using those three functions, there's a formula or there's a function that could replace that, but now your original data is preserved. You haven't lost it. It's still live. And that's what's really important when we're dealing with large data sets, especially in education. So that was unique. You can see original data is preserved, all still there. This is especially great you're going to see when people are filling out forms, because when we have those form responses, I don't want anything to happen to my original data. I just want to be able to work with my extracted data. We're going to move on over to the remove duplicates tab. So you notice I have the same list of names, and we're going to see the difference of what remove duplicates looks like versus unique, where now I am changing my original data. And you know what? Sometimes we want to do that. Sometimes we don't. You have to pick why you want those duplicates gone. Do you want them gone forever? Or do you want them gone just enough that you can make some formulas, but you're keeping your original responses perhaps? So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be selecting that column here. I'm going to be going over to data, and you're going to see over in the data tools, and we've put a screenshot for you on our PowerPoint. We are looking, it looks like two little blue bars and a white bar in the middle. It looks like an Oreo cookie with an X. We're going to be removing duplicates. As soon as I click that, it's going to say, okay, I want to remove the duplicates in column A. I'm going to say, okay, boom. 16 values were found and removed. 16 unique values remain. So it's letting you know, whoa, we've removed them. Your data has now been altered. So that data is no longer there. And I can say, okay. I'm going to do that in Instant Sports Replay. I'm going to do it one more time for everybody. So I'm selecting my column. I'm going up to data in my menu. And on the right-hand side, I'm going to see the data tools, and I'm going to remove the duplicates. Okay. It's that fast and that simple. I have to say I'm almost embarrassed. I'm almost embarrassed, Coulter, because I'm not kidding. When I first started working with Excel, they throw you into a position and they give you this data, and I'm like, well, all I know how to do is copy, paste, delete. So I was going through and hand selecting the duplicate rows, and I was deleting them and removing them. And that takes a lot of time. So this is something that's just instant magic for us in Excel. And yeah, so, that's Joanne, that's a great question. Can you create a new column of the ones that were duplicates? That's what that unique is. That's why I like to leave that. I'd have to look and see, because it was like, for me in this particular case, it just made 16. I had 16 unique, 16 duplicates. But in that particular case, that's when I like the unique function, because then if I were to come over here and I was to, sort my column, let's say I had all these names. Let me just go back here and undo a couple things. I would probably then run unique right beside this or somewhere else on another sheet. But then what I would do is on my original column, oh, stop this, delete, delete, delete. What I would do is we're going to get into sorting. I would be sorting this one so that I could see how many duplicates there were of each. That's why I like the unique formula. And we'll come back to that when I show you some sorting. I would leave this and I would be sorting it so that I could go here. We're going to talk sort in a second. Nobody panic. I can now see just exactly how many were duplicated in each one. So I would probably use a filter sort, and I would run a unique to put it in a new sheet. Does that make sense, Joanne? Would that be helpful? I just love leaving my original formula, my original data. I feel like I'm always going back to it. And if I delete things and remove things, I'm like, oh, I don't have it anymore. So I love adding new sheets to my workbook. I love being able to come over here. And remember, you can do that. I can say right up here, equals unique. And I can go ahead and I can go and I can select data from another chart and I can put it in here. So I can leave that form response. Oh, I did a circular reference, don't mind me, but I can put that form response right there so that I can run it on another sheet. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. I like to see what's duplicated as well. All right. So it is nice to be able to see those duplicates, and I find sorting does help us do that. We're going to be getting to sorting here right away. And exactly, conditional formatting, Sean, we're going to be getting to that. If it's this, then I can see that. Okay, well, what we want to do is we want to get a little bit of live data. I want to show you one more duplicate trick that I absolutely love as well. Like I said many times, I don't like messing with my original data. I like to leave it, and I do different functions and formulas on more sheets. One thing that's really nice is to be able to duplicate a sheet. This is just a little throw it in there pro tip for you. I know we can do the move and copy of a sheet, but did everybody know that if you have a sheet, if you hold down the control key while you drag the tab with the name, it duplicates it for you? It's just a quick duplicate. Just control, drag the sheet, you got another one. Super fast. And I know that there's move or copy, and then you can choose where you want it, you can create a copy and all those things. But I'm working quickly and I just want to run some quick formulas on something, but I'm not ready to go ahead and mess with my original yet. I'm just messing around, or I have to really quickly copy it so I can do something else. Just hold that control button. Drag, just go ahead and drag down at the bottom, boom, you've got another one. Really great too if you've made some awesome formulas and you want to copy that on over for more data. Is that new to anybody? Is that a new shortcut?
Was for me. That's great.
Awesome. We work in very busy, often educational institutions or businesses and things. If I can use a shortcut that saves me milliseconds off my day, and I can do many milliseconds, and I can add up all those milliseconds, and I can probably have another coffee in my day, and it will be so great. Okay, we are going to go ahead, and what I want to do is we're going to get a little audience participation here. You're going to notice that I got a Microsoft form. Hopefully everybody here knows that I can generate a form from a sheet when I have my Excel open in my online world in the web. And so what's really great here is we just have a little form for you to fill out where you can put in your name, your favorite pet, where you were born. Feel free to just leave your first name. You don't have to give any personal details over the internet. Throw that in there quick. We'll put a link to this form here in the chat just so that you can go ahead and participate with us. But what really is fantastic is just that ability when I'm here and I'm going to go into my lovely little OneDrive. Whenever I am in my my space and I want to be able to make something new, of course I can throw in the Forms app. It depends on how you want your data to be. If I want to just have my form get all filled up and I want to download my data later for use, I click the Forms app and I build it here. If I want my data to continually be live, no matter what, no matter when everybody fills it out, I don't want to have to keep downloading it to a workbook, which I think actually, in my opinion, is what most people want when you're having a form filled out. You're going to want to choose your Excel. And when you're doing that, when you make that new workbook and you're doing that in a browser, what's fantastic is from here, I can say insert form. So it's one of those ones where if you want people to have that, I want that constant updated connection from this form to my workbook, I don't want to have to download it every time. That's my pro tip for you, is actually go from Excel to form as opposed to the other way. Because if you go the other way, you're going to have to sync it to a new workbook. It's just that extra step. And so you can make that new form. I know we've got some sessions, I believe, coming up, Coulter, with Microsoft Forms and Word. Feel free to register for that. There's going to be some really great information. I know you are an MS Forms genius, and you'll be working with everyone to create these and see that. But that's just my little pro tip for you right now. And that's the form that you are filling out, is being able to go here. I started it from the web. I just threw this together so that we would get that practice. And that's you can see that's the workbook we're in right now. And that's why I have practice from forms. You can see I went through in here and I started filling it out a whole bunch with some anonymous pieces. But as everyone is filling this out, I'm going to see that live data be here with my sheet. And I'm going to be able to work with that data. And so that makes things great. The reason I'm seeing anonymous is because I set my form so that anybody outside my organization can fill that out. You can request that it's not anonymous, that it requires a login, so you know exactly who's filled that out. And of course, you will get a timestamp and the order of it's filled out with an ID number. So this is one of those perfect examples of if we want to start doing some filtering and sorting, I find I'm using that the most when I'm getting form responses. I'm getting a whole bunch of information given to me, and now I need to look at it with a smaller lens. That's going to be our goal today. And so what we're going to look at is we're going to break down sorting, and then we're going to break down filtering. So really, what's that big difference? And it really just is, what order do you want things in, and do you want to funnel and imagine putting blinders on a horse. I just only want to look at this right now. I don't want to have all the extraneous data in my way because I can't really work with that. So that's what we're going to work out right now. Is anybody here new to sorting or filtering? Throw it in the chat which one you are new to, and then that way I will know what to focus on. So one of the big ones, the easiest ones that I really love is, of course, we can select. We're going to go to the home button, and you're looking for the sort and filter that's on the right hand side. And you notice as soon as I click that, even if I'm like off of my chart, these little pull down, drop down boxes for filtering and sorting are always just right here. So I just have to, it's almost like an activation button. It's like you click it and then, Autobots roll out. It just activates the ability to be able to filter and sort. So I can do that right here from the button that's in my home menu. Or of course, as soon as I click it once, I'm able to now do that independently by column. And I can go ahead and I can sort. So I can choose things and I can sort it A to Z, other way. And one of the things you're going to notice, take a look at that ID number. Everything in the row follows it. So it maintains your row integrity. It's simply changing the order I'm choosing to see it. So again, I can go back over to this ID number and I can sort from largest to smallest. I can do that from where I was born. And so it allows me to just very quickly see that information in my preferred order. Filtering is a little different. Filtering means I want to be able to create a reduced view. So again, I'm not taking away the integrity of my original data. I'm simply changing my view. I do find, Coulter, sorting makes people crazy when you are in a shared sheet. Let me know if it makes anybody else crazy, because somebody will go in and you change the sort, changes the sort for everybody. And so they're like, whoa, why is this all messed up? That's why I do like filtering, because it's like, no, I'm going to filter. I'm going to create my own independent view, and it's not going to mess with what you are seeing in that data. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And this might be some of the things that are new for everybody. So like I said at the beginning, I just got a new kitten. 2 new kittens, actually. I can hear them running around. So I'm going to go over here to choose my favorite pet. And I want to be able to put in that filter. And you're going to look, it's already like, Excel is so powerful. It's so smart. It's like, oh, okay, what do you want to filter by? What do you want to look at? And so I can just go ahead and uncheck what I don't want to see. I just want to look at who responded, cat. And so now I can say, okay, and right here, I am able to see that data be filtered so that only I'm seeing that. Give that a try. but it didn't mess with my original data. It puts a little tiny filter button that's right there so that I can see that. I can, of course, select all again and have it return to how it was. And you can do that with anything. I can say, okay, I want to sort by, I'm going to say this time I want to look at who selected bird. And then now I'm going to alphabetize city that they're from. So I can combine filtering and sorting right in here. One of the things you're going to notice is that there's a view button. This might be the part that's a little bit new for everybody. I just did a filter and sort. I maybe want to keep that, but I don't want to mess with everybody's things. Just know there is a new view. And I like to do that before I start messing with everything. So let's start to go back. Let's go back to, I'm gonna exit this. I'm gonna say don't keep. I'm going to go back and I'm going to unfilter this right now. I'm just going to select all. I'm going to leave my data how it was because I don't want to mess with Coulter when he sees this later. I want to leave his data here. So I'm going to go on over to my View tab, and I'm going to see on the left-hand side, there's a new View button. And notice this is temporary view, temporary view. Oh, okay. This is just for me. Coulter would not see this. I'm not messing with what he sees. I can now go here and I say, no, I'm just going to look at all the cats. Yes. And I'm going to filter by where you were born. Woohoo. Let's A to Z that. Excellent. And guess what? I can just look at that. This is like my own playground, or I can keep this view and it will save it for me. It'll keep that view. So you can decide what it is that you want to be able to do. Do you want to be able to see that? Do you want to be able to look at that like everyone else? Do you want that view? So I find that this is one of those ones that is very, and so you notice, look, I can switch to a view and I can rename it and call this cats. There's my cats. And I can exit and go back to my original view. So really just decide how you want to be able to do that. What is your preference? But it's like, are you the only one in the sheet? Do you have collaborators? Do you want different views for the different options because you are playing around in that? So let us know, is view new to anybody? It just helps us visualize that data in another way.
I think that's great, and I think it's also great that if we had to inform our colleagues about this, that we can, because I have been in sheets where they have done this and you're like, what am I looking at here? What has just happened? So this is such an informative piece for myself and definitely some colleagues.
Oh yeah, that's the big thing, is letting people know, because it's like when I can look here and I can have it say, hey, look, there's these view options, right? We can go in here and we can switch to them and we can name them, and we don't have to. And so it is nice just to be able to, and you notice it's in this pull down menu too. There's my default view, there's my cats view. And I can start to say, okay, I'm just looking at this data. The integrity of my original is kept, but now I've made all these different views that I can now use that data for. So hopefully that's exciting. That's new for some people out there, is being able to work with those views and do something different. We're going to keep on going. I'm looking at our time. We've got more to be able to cover. I do really love freezing your panes. Don't forget, if you're one of those people that's like, as you start scrolling, you're like, oh, I've lost my data. Just remember, sweet, thank you, Microsoft, for making it that I can't lose my data when I'm scrolling. That's just that button that's right there for you under view as well. But now what we want to be able to do is we want to be able to look at some of the analyze and visualize data. I know that we're really good with being able to put in some of those charts and pieces, but just know there's some of those smart tool buttons that I think are so ridiculously helpful when it comes to being able to do this. And so if I was to go ahead, and I'm just going to go back to my lovely little home button here. If I was to choose column F and I click this analyze data, it's going to analyze the column that I have chosen, and already it's saying, hey, is this what you're looking for? You want to be able to have this quick little pivot chart, and it actually puts your suggestion in as a brand new sheet in your workbook. So now I've got the pivot table with all those totals. It's giving me a visual chart. I'm ready to give my supervisor information in seconds about what they just asked for. And so it's one of those ones of, yeah, I can go ahead and I can insert that chart and I can create some of these really complex things. But I find often in our positions, we're asked for just very quick information. So same thing, I can choose, where you are born, analyze data, boom. Hey, is this what you're looking for? And remember, of course, at any point, I can say insert, and I'll find all of those charts. And my favorite still, recommended charts. Why struggle? It's smart. It knows what we're looking for. You select that column, you select those data sets, and let Microsoft do the work for you. And of course, you'll be able to go in and edit that information. I can say, okay, and it's going to pop that in for me right on that extra sheet. And I do love that about Microsoft. It's not, again, messing with that original sheet of data that I had. It's putting it on a separate sheet for me so that my original data is maintained its integrity, and now I can switch to some of those other sheets. But we're going to talk now our last two things, and that's going to be data validation and conditional formatting. And I think that they are besties. They are techie besties, in fact, because I find I'm always using both. Often what I'm doing is I'm creating that drop-down list, and if it becomes a certain selection, it changes color. This is great if you have a large data set and you very visually want something to turn up and you want it to turn red if they haven't paid for something. That way I can see that no, it's not paid, and I know to draw attention to it, just like Joanne was saying before. And so I want to be able to create that. I find with data validation, often it's because we need a specific answer from people because they're entering it into our sheet. I don't know, I'm nervous about letting people edit my sheets. I like people to use forms so that they can't edit my sheet. That's where I like them inputting data. But also it's nice to be able to make that list. So let me know in the chat, is anybody here new to data validation or making a drop-down list? Throw that in the chat so I know if you are new to that and I can give you a little how-to. Awesome. Okay, you're gonna love this. What I'm doing first on our tab that says data validation, you've noticed I've made some lists. I've made a list of some cities. I've made a list of yes and no. Often what I do is anything that I'm going to want to select for my list, my drop-down list, I put it on a sheet. And then my little pro tip, I hide that sheet later so no one can see it. It's just for me to make my data validation lists. And then I'll go to my nice blank, beautiful workbook where I'm putting my drop-down menu. Today, I'm just going to do it all on the same one so that you can see it in one place. But what I want to be able to do is I'm going to select maybe perhaps the column that I want to put my data validation in. Have people paid, yes or no? What city are they from? Drop-down menu, because I don't want people to type it because there's spelling errors, they might abbreviate it. I need that data to be the same. So I'm going to go to data. And then what I'm going to be able to look for is I want to be able to make my data validation. So I've got a little slide for you here. You're going to see this. Bum, ba, da, bum. You're looking for your data tools. So it's either to say you can only put in this type of data, or you can also use it to create the drop-down list, which is what we're going to be doing right now. So hopefully everybody's following along, letting us know how you are doing. Let us know where you're at. Now, if you're like, where is data validation? I can't see it. My screen is reduced. Remember, you're just looking for data tools. That's why we have a screen for you with a screenshot. You're looking for data tools. And this one looks like it's got a check and a no. Data validation. You hover over it, you'll see it. On the web version, it's probably expanded for you on your ribbon. but I'm looking for the one that says data validation. Now in here, this is where I can restrict data. No, it has to be a whole number. It has to be a date. It has to be, and you know, what do I want that to be so that I get that proper data? That restrictive data. What we're looking for is the one that says list. And I want to put it in a drop-down cell. I want it to ignore the blanks, but it's going to say source. This is where I want to be able to say, where is my information? Where's my drop-down list from? That's why I'll put my data validation lists on one sheet and hide it, and then I'll use this one here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say, I want my data validation for here. Yes and no. Insert that. Okay. Now look at that. I have a little drop-down menu. And pro tip in Excel, I'm not doing that 100 times. I'm lining up my cell with my crosshairs and I'm dragging that down to everything so that my drop-down menu follows all of that. I'm not repeating that. Forget it. So now I can just use my drop-down right here. Yes, no, okay. Woohoo, here we go. I'm putting in what I want. I'm going to do that again, Instant Sport Replay for our cities. So I'm going to data, data tools, data validation, list, and source. I'm choosing where I want that list to come from and inserting it. And I'm saying, okay, now I have a drop-down menu for those cities for people to choose from. And remember, what you can do with that is you'll be able to say, okay, no, I want to actually, before I insert it, I'm just going to drag that cell down so that data validation, that drop down follows this entire column. Now I can choose. Where I like this to now go with, of course, is conditional formatting. And I realize we're at the end of our hour. Don't worry, I'm going to show you one last little thing and show you where to find this. But what conditional formatting does for me is it turns things a color based on if it's this, turn it this color. If it's this, do this. And so what I can do in my home button, and one of the most popular ways to use this is highlight cell rules. I want to highlight my cell if the number is less than or greater than, or for my list, if it's equal to this word, change this color. But in these numbers, if I say, okay, in this column, if I want anything less than, so if it's less than 50, I want it to turn what color? What do you want? Light fill, dark red text? Okay, look how fast that was. I can do that for data validation. I can come over here and I can say, if it is, highlight cell rules, equal to, yes, stacked. Okay, notice what it did fast. Did it pay, did it not pay? And watch this. If I say no, the color goes away. Yes, they paid. Yes, they paid. Right there. That's how I combine being able to choose my data validation and have it do something based on that data. Now, we know it was a quick hour of information. We have some additional resources for you today. I'm a shortcut girl. Oh, I love shortcuts. I do have some keyboard shortcuts in Excel for you that just make things, you know, if you want a quick sum, Alt plus equals. I'm using that all day long. If I want to repeat my last action, F4 makes my life so easy to be able to do it. But also, we have some additional resources. Just remember that the Microsoft Support Center, unbelievable. Every video you could want. You want formulas and functions, click there. Oh, you want a video on every single thing here? It is there for you. Functions, reference, all of that here. And when you click on any one of them, like that if function, it will tell you exactly what to do and give you some of those examples. Another one that I have for you that I was sharing with Coulter, one of my favorite ways to learn. We have one for Excel practice online. This is just another site that, oh boy, this person is quite brilliant. And what you can do on here is it actually gives you an emulator. There's an online worksheet built into any of them. So if I was to go click on one of them, you have to get past the ads. It's a free site. It gives you an explanation, but it will also give you a place to try and work. And so you can see, oh, okay, I can practice this. But what's lovely about it is there is everything you can imagine all the way up into advanced power queries. And my favorite, secret Excel functions. You notice unique is in there because it's life changing. But we want you all to be able to get some credit for today. I hear you have all been signing up for the Microsoft Education Center, getting that MEC credit. You will get that for today as well, where you can just log in from that account that you've created with your past workshops with Alex and Coulter and team. And we have a workshop code there for you to be able to enter that, get those credits, get that code, earn those badges for all of your hard work. I think that's super fantastic. And know after today, even if you checked the support center, even if you went to Excel Online, just know truthfully, help@cobblestonecollective.ca, if you send a question to that account, they will absolutely give you a response. They will find the answer for you. We have one of our Cobblestone team monitoring that account every single day. They're brilliant professionals. They will be able to help you. If you'd like to give any more feedback, such as, would you like to see more sessions? Do you want Excel Advanced? Would you like different types of tools to help you for your position? Give those suggestions, because Cobblestone is always putting in new workshops, making those happen for people. And of course, feel free to share the link to this slide deck, ccpage/Excel, with your colleagues. Our materials are open source, so anyone can take those, use them, and share alike for everyone here. Just a massive thank you for being here. We know it's one of those, I almost call it like a bit of a buffet. You're getting a taste of many things so that now you can go back and play and try that concept in your own environment. And so let us know, what was your favorite new trick, tip, tool, formula, function, shortcut? What was your favorite thing to learn today that you plan on using in your position? Throw that in the chat so that we know which one stood out for you. And just thanks for being here. I hope everybody has a really wonderful day.